The 2001 Pepsi 400 at Daytona has to be one of NASCAR's most iconic, emotional, and greatest races in NASCAR history. This was the first race back at the track since the tragic loss of Dale Earnhardt on the final lap of the 2001 Daytona 500. What happened the night of July 7th, 2001 couldn't have gone any more picture perfect. Obviously, there had to have been a lot of emotions going on that night between the fans, the teams, and the drivers, and even the millions of people watching at home. I can only imagine what a surreal experience it must have been attending this event in person. Sterling Marlin's Chip Ganassi Dodge was on the pole, with Ward Burton's Bill Davis Dodge alongside him on the front row to lead the field to the green flag.
20 straight weeks of racing to decide the NASCAR Winston Cup Series champion begin now. The crowd is on its feet. The 43rd Pepsi 400 goes green on NBC. Three deep, halfway through the field off the second corner.
Mike Skinner saw an opening in the middle and dove 3 wide, trying to pick up some spots.
As with every race in 2001, the fans and broadcast did a special tribute to Dale and honored him on lap 3 by holding 3 fingers in the air.
Our colleagues at Fox began a tradition of saluting the memory of Dale Earnhardt with a silent lap 3. We feel it appropriate and we're proud to carry that tradition on.
A touching tribute to the Intimidator that was started by Fox Sports at Rockingham, and I'm glad NBC, as this was their first race of the year, continued that tradition. By lap 27, the race was still green, but this would be a pivotal moment in the race, as this would be the first time that Dale Earnhardt Jr. would take the lead, passing Kevin Harvick, who was driving the car that his father once drove, as the crowd absolutely goes insane.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. goes for the lead. The fans all jump to their feet.
Still down there, still there.
Out front,
Clear.
Earnhardt Jr. leads at Daytona.
You in the 29, and they're 2 by 2, about 10 deep behind you.
Check out those fans. They are absolutely loving this as Earnhardt goes to the front.
The race would remain green to the point of the cars making it to the end of their fuel window, so Dale Earnhardt Jr. would lead a bunch of guys down pit road to get 4 tires in fuel and routine service before getting back on their way. Dale Earnhardt Jr. would be out front for 23 laps straight before that pit stop. He would cycle back to the lead after that pit stop, and he would remain out front for another 33 laps. And at this point, it was starting to become pretty clear that Dale Earnhardt Jr. had an absolute dominant car that he can control the field with while being out front. Just past the halfway mark, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was still leading the race, and the field was starting to get stretched out a little bit, as on this old Daytona before the repave, handling was very important, and on long green flag runs the cars could stretch out a little bit, as at times Dale Earnhardt Jr. was getting huge multi-car length leads on the field. But everything would get bunched back together when the 96 of Andy Houston would find the wall in turn number 4.
Got trouble here. Andy Houston in the wall, cautions out. That's off turn 4.
If he broke something, cut a right front tire, Benny?
Yeah, the right front tire went flat on the car for some reason. And when that happens, the car just veers right, and there's nothing the driver can do. But you know one thing, he was very fortunate. He was running close to the wall.
I was just going to say that. That's the best place to be if you're going to cut a right front tire.
Look at that passenger side window the cars carry here at Daytona. You see that go flying out of the car when he hit the wall? It just popped that right out. He hit so hard. And there's Andy out of the car.
Thankfully, Andy Houston was all right. It's pretty crazy looking back at these old races and seeing no safer barriers and just concrete walls, as we've just become accustomed to seeing them at every single racetrack. Well, maybe with the exception of Nashville on that one wall that poor Ryan Blaney hit last weekend, but they are pretty much everywhere. Under this caution, Dale Earnhardt Jr. would lead the field down pit road for 4 tires, fuel, and adjustment. Michael Waltrip would slide through his pit stall and have this close call with Mike Skinner and his pit crew, but thankfully everyone was alright. Michael Waltrip was able to back up into his pit stall and they were able to complete the service. Dale Earnhardt Jr. would win the race off pit road by a country mile and he would restart the race in the lead.
Green flag is out. We'll find out.
But you can't pass on the inside until you get to the start-finish line. So all these cars have to go by on the outside. Now, as they go down to one, you can pass if you're able to. Go get them.
There's a big gap there from about 15th back on that restart. Somebody got a bad restart there.
It's Bill Elliott and Stacy Compton trying to get a lap back from the leader. Elliott in the red Dodge on the inside.
Doesn't look like that's going to work tonight.
Not the way Dale Jr.'s running.
No.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. would lead the next 55 laps and fend off any challenge that came his way. Whenever someone got alongside him or even passed him on the back straightaway, he would retake the lead by the time they got to turn 3 and would continue to prove his dominance. As green flag pit stops were beginning, the race would get flipped upside down as the majority of the leaders tried to hit pit road.
Here come a large pack of front runners. Trouble off the corner.
31.
Several cars involved. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sterling Marlin, Mike Skinner, Jeff Gordon's in it, Bobby Hamilton. Kurt Busch is in the crash. Dale Jarrett takes to the pit road. Terry Labonte's involved. Caution's out.
I didn't see it, but it looked like some guys were trying to get in the pits, and it just stacked up.
See some damage to the right front of Kevin Harvick's car. Not a lot of damage, but damage.
Oh.
A lot of damage to that automobile.
Ran so well earlier in the night. There's Skinner up against the fence.
Mike's moving around. Looks like he's okay.
All right, here they're coming off the corner. And I think there's going to be contact right there. Skinner and Kurt Busch get together. Turn Skinner into the wall head on. Labonte has no place to go. Neither does Bobby Hamilton when Skinner comes back across the racetrack. Now there's no place for anybody to go.
Who was that just snuck by?
Nemechek, yeah.
And
Dave
John
Marcus,
Andretti. Dave Marcus gets down on the grass and somehow saves it.
He's almost as good as you.
I know.
And you know what? The 7 car was slowing down, coming in the pits. 31 checked up, 97 ran into him.
Yep.
Shot right across in front of Terry Labonte. Watch the back of this. Dale Jarrett, top right of your screen, going to come through the smoke, head for pit road.
Looked a lot of wrecking going on there, Dale. I'd be careful on pit road if I were you. The racetrack looked to be the safest place. You ever see Kurt Busch right on the back bumper, and Mike Wallace goes toward pit road. There's the contact. Skinner gets turned, and man, Terry Labonte says, "Oh no."
Is that Mark Martin piling in there? Mark has continued driving around, but his chance at that $1 million bonus appears to have taken a little bit of a hit there if the damage is significant on his car. Was that Mark's car?
Another shot.
Get a better look at it here.
And it just doesn't take much. I mean, you know, Mike saw the 7 car coming in the pits. He rolled out of the throttle a little bit. Busch couldn't see what was going on. It just doesn't take much.
As Mike Wallace was slowing down to hit pit road, Mike Skinner had to check up for him, which caused him to get rear-ended by Kurt Busch, which caused a huge accident. Mike Skinner went head-on into the wall. Thankfully, he was okay, as well as all the other drivers involved. But this caution would be horrible luck for Dale Earnhardt Jr., who's actually dominated this race up until this point, as there were several drivers that hit pit road before this and never lost a lap, while Dale was still out front leading when this happened. So he would have to pit under the caution, as well as all the other drivers behind him, while those others were able to cycle around to the front of the field. This would end up putting Johnny Benson in the lead of the race, and Dale Jr. would have to restart in the 7th spot. The restart would come with 11 laps to go as Dale Earnhardt Jr. tries to battle his way back to the front.
11 laps to settle the Pepsi 400. Here we go.
Now's when you're making deals.
On board with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dives to the inside. Not room there. Decides wisely, decides to back up a little bit.
Got to clear the lap cars first. Joe Nemechek, the 33, was up alongside Benson, the leader. He was the first one a lap down.
Boy, Junior wants to go to the inside so badly. He doesn't have any choice now. He dives down to the inside.
Better watch the out-of-bounds line. Off the trioval, the temptation will be great to try and go under Elliott and Nemechek. Caution's out. Trouble off turn 4. Jeff Gordon's car smoking heavily.
Looks like he's made contact with the outside retaining wall. That's on board with Jeff Gordon, and you can see that we can't see much.
Yeah, nothing much to see.
The green flag would be short-lived as the field only completed 1 lap under green before Jeff Gordon would bring out the caution, as he had damage in that big wreck, and that ended up knocking an oil line loose and he would get oil all over the racetrack. However, the engine was still running. He was able to limp it back around to pit road, where the crew managed to at least fix it so he can finish this race, as this was very important as he needed all the points he can get, because he was currently the Winston Cup points leader coming into this race. As for Dale Jr., he was only able to pick up 1 spot on the restart, and this caution didn't help because it just knocked off more laps. He would have to restart in the 6th spot with 6 laps to go.
7 laps left. Now it'll be 6 as they come to the start-finish line. Time to settle the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is 6th in line, and Benson leads on the restart.
Once again, you can't pass on the inside till you get to that line. All right, it's free game. Let's go.
Ward Burton quickly down to the inside to try and grab a spot.
You see Jeff Gordon back on the racetrack. Earnhardt Jr. lagged back, trying to get him a run. He has that run, but Tony Stewart pulls up in front of him. He's got Jeremy Mayfield.
He's got time, I guess.
Schrader pushed to the outside lane.
20 cars, the only one upstairs. He's still outside.
Look at Junior go.
Still there.
Up to 4th.
Clear.
Here comes Bobby Labonte pushing through. Junior to the outside of Mayfield for 3rd.
7's coming with you. 7's coming.
Mike Wallace with him. We can hear Ty Norris telling him, you got help on the outside, Junior.
Does Blaney block in the 93? What about Benson?
They're going to stay on the bottom of the racetrack. I think they're going to give the outside to Junior.
Jeff Gordon getting black flagged by NASCAR.
Still there.
Here's
still
Dale
there.
Jr. to the outside of Dave Blaney for 2nd spot. Mayfield pushes him along in the draft.
Still there. Still there.
To the outside for the lead in turn 4. Dale Earnhardt Jr. rockets to the front at Daytona. Listen to the crowd.
And look at this crowd behind him. Look at this race behind him. And Tony Stewart gets run underneath the yellow line.
Tony Stewart will be black flag by NASCAR.
Okay,
Black flag for Tony Stewart for going below the out-of-bounds line.
All clear, all clear.
Frantic, intense racing in the final laps at Daytona. But it's still Dale Earnhardt Jr. out in front. They've got to take the win away from him.
Got a teammate behind the 18.
Tony Eury Jr.'s clapping, saying, come on, Junior, come on.
2 to go.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to block, trying to keep those cars behind him, desperately trying to keep them behind him. He runs so good through the corner, he lets them get a run on him down the straightaway.
Michael Waltrip dives underneath Bobby Labonte. They bump on the backstretch. Waltrip to second. Elliott Sadler and Rusty Wallace with him.
Coming behind you.
Now 2 team cars race in the 1 and 2 positions.
That's who Dale needs to see in his rearview mirror right now. That's the best thing he can see.
But a white flag.
Will Michael Waltrip block for Dale Jr.? Will he try to win the race himself? White flag is out. Final lap at Daytona. 180,000 on their feet, screaming wildly. 2.5 miles to go.
Just exactly the opposite of the Daytona 500. It was 15 and 8. Elliott Sadler is trying to keep Bobby Labonte behind. He can't do it. But he does move down in front of Rusty Wallace on that fast line.
All clear, all clear.
Bobby Labonte looking for some help, trying to get up there. His teammate Tony Stewart has never answered the black flag.
And they're 4 wide back between the Wallace boys.
Here they come, turn 4, final lap of the Pepsi 400. Michael Waltrip in second, but it's going to be Dale Earnhardt Jr. using lessons learned from his father to go from 6th to 1st and score the victory in the Pepsi 400.
That's unbelievable.
Yes!
That band behind you did it for
Yes!
you. You guys celebrate. You love your band. You did it.
That was beautiful. Very, very nice.
Junior, you're happy.
All right, you
Look
guys
at
are
that
awesome.
smile. Wow.
I don't think there's anybody here that didn't want to see that.
Sentimental favorite, emotional favorite. Earlier in the broadcast, we talk among ourselves. Some of the moves he made on the track today looked like his father behind the wheel.
I am speechless.
That call by Alan Beswick, Dale Jr. coming to the start-finish line to take the checkered flag, still gives me goosebumps to this day. What an unbelievable moment in NASCAR history, and honestly, what a storybook ending to this race. And you gotta give a big shout out to Michael Waltrip. Dale Jr.'s praise from going 6th to 1st on that final restart, but Michael Waltrip went from 14th to 2nd to help Dale Earnhardt Jr. win this race. And the two were able to celebrate in the infield with the fans with one of the greatest NASCAR celebrations of all time.
For Dale Earnhardt Jr., if that wasn't like the old man, I don't know what was, Tony Sr.
Hey, he had a good teacher. He told him a lot about this place. He loves this place. Hell, listen to them fans up there. They love that kid to death.
I saw you look to the heavens with a few laps to go. What did you say?
Well, he said he knew he could beat them. We just didn't know what was going to happen.
Remember when we've seen this before?
And Steve Mills joining the fray now.
Yeah, man, D.I.'s tough. D.I.'s tough.
We can celebrate!
What a finish at Daytona. Dale Jr. on top of the car in the infield.
The 1998 Daytona 500, when his father finally won the Great American Race, he threw the car into the grass doing victory donuts. Everybody joining in the celebration. That's Chocolate Myers, long-time crewman for Dale at Richard Childress Racing. Sixth to 1st in the final 6 laps. All right, Mikey, you celebrate too. You never got to celebrate your win in February. You celebrate now.
Man, that's just so cool. Storybook ending.
Oh, this is great. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is our winner, and Chevy congratulates him in the number 8 Monte Carlo on a big win tonight. And he'll tell you the only thing that comes close to Monte Carlo's reputation on the track is its reputation on the street. Monte Carlo, more champions depend on Chevy. We'll be there. To victory lane and Bill Weber.
It's Tony Uri Sr., Dale Earnhardt Jr. These friends of yours?
Man, I just don't know what to say. I'm wore out. I can't think. I guess I gotta thank my buddy Tony, my crew chief, for hanging in there with me. All my friends, all the guys on the crew, Budweiser, Remington. I got to talk all night.
How did you get to the front after the restart?
I had a great car. It was all car, 100%. I just holding on.
Yeah. You've learned a few things through the years, though, haven't you, from certain people?
Yeah. He was with me tonight. I don't know how I did it, but he was there, and Michael helped me. I guess we're even now.
You told Marty Snyder, Dale, you felt lonely on Father's Day, and there were times that you wanted to cry, but you couldn't. Did you cry tonight?
I'll be crying sooner or later. I don't know. I feel so good right now. I'm wore out too.
You know when your dad got his first win at Daytona?
Huh.
His first Winston Cup points win came 11 years ago today, July 7th, 1990.
So special. I dedicate this win to him. I mean, there ain't nobody else that I could dedicate it to that it would mean more to me. I want to say hey to Teresa back home. I hope she's loving this because we sure are. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
In this one, the clips kind of speak for themselves. What an amazing night, and one of the greatest in NASCAR history. And someone recently commented not too long ago asking me what my favorite race was of all time, and this is it. Simply this, the 2001 Pepsi 400. It's actually quite difficult trying to make this video, as all these years later, I still get pretty teared up watching back through this race, as this win for Dale Jr. meant a lot to a lot of people. Another thing that kind of got overlooked in this race was there's a little incident after it involving Tony Stewart and a reporter. Tony Stewart was frustrated with that black flag. He never pitted and didn't believe that it was the correct call. A reporter came up to him after him with a tape recorder, and Tony actually kicked the tape recorder under a hauler, and the skirmish had to be broken up. Because of this, Tony Stewart was fined $10,000 and had his probation extended, which he was already on due to spinning Jeff Gordon out at Bristol, and was also penalized 65 points. Well, this was an incredible night in NASCAR history. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you like motorsports history videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's completely free and it'll notify you when I upload. And if you like this one, let me know by hitting that thumbs up button. That's all for now. Hope to see you next week in my next one. Take care, everyone.